Hey everyone, time for a weekly update video. I know it's not Sunday, but I'm just going to try to put as much content as I can before my time in this space is completely over in terms of, producing content. So I'm going to try to put out a couple of videos each week and we'll just go from there. Before I jump into today's, overview, I just want to announce that I have partnered with a new exchange. It is my final partnership and one that I actually was able to rigorously test out. So the exchange is called Lbank. For those that aren't familiar with it, it's one of the biggest exchanges in terms of volume and liquidity. They've been around since 2015, and that being said, for those who have been using MEXC, the user interface is literally the same basically. The fees better than Blowfin, my previous partner, and I'm still partnered with them, but I am going to be starting to trade on Lbank as well and Bybit. But if you guys are interested, link is in the description. There are bonuses for signing up. So again, link is in the description. Up to you guys if you want to use it. Better than Blowfin in my humble opinion. And let's jump into it. So going over Bitcoin, all right. Simple range that we were in once we broke down, right? We had the range highs and the lows. We swept the lows here and, are actually going for this weekly high here. Now, if we are going to sweep the highs like we did with the lows, I'd be looking for a reaction around this basically 99K, okay? And this is actually resistance. We can actually pull this further back. 99K or 98.799K is strong resistance. Now, if I were to start on the daily, okay, we have a potential breakout of this trend line here coming as well. Double bottom formation too. Okay, now let's go back to a lower time frame. So if we take out the highs, okay, and we SFP back under it, fall back within the range, then a potential short comes, okay, just like we did down here, where we took out the lows, right? We SFP'd, candle closed back above the previous swing low, you long, back to the range highs with stops below the low. So same type of concept will apply here. Now this was going to either break out this week or whenever, but if we take out those highs and fall back under, then you're looking for a short scalp. The first area will be at the mid-range point, which is going to be around 96K. And then you have the range low. So this is a conditional trade based on the sweep of these highs here. Again, we are coming at resistance. So if we take out these highs, swing above, close back below, right, you're going to enter in with a market short with stops above the wick. Now you want to give yourself some breathing room because let's say if the wick goes up to here, right, and this is a very, very tight stop loss, right, you don't want, a stop loss that tight. So give yourself some breathing room just in case we, go back up to sweep the wick that we just created, okay? Now, like I said, on a higher time frame, we are flirting with this trend line breakout. And usually when we do break out, you want the volume to be strong. Now, this is a double bottom formation, okay? And I can quickly show that here as well. Let me get this picture up for you guys. Okay. So, all right, and we can go back to a lower time frame here. Let's just post that there. So if we have, here's the neckline, here's the first bottom, right? Here's the second bottom. You want this to break out and retest before entering any long positions. That is your second conditional trade, and you target basically these highs here and stop loss will be somewhere below this support if we get that breakout and retest. Okay, so these are two conditional trades that I'd be looking at, and again, it's only going to be conditioned if we break out from this neckline and retest stop loss below the support here and you're targeting these highs. Okay, as long as we are above this like 97k level, 97 to 68, 96.8, above this level here, we should gun for this 102k. Okay, so this is an extremely important level. Now, if we do get a pullback, a slight pullback, and just to reiterate, the last 2 Fridays, okay, Orange Man has said something stupid, which have gone to us going down. So here's Friday, right? Last Friday, we went down. Again, here's last Friday, we went down. So just keep that in mind, okay? Now, if we get this pullback, slight pullback, and it's based off, nothing too complex in the markets, then this is going to be your likely setup. We have an order block here, so you're looking for a pullback into this area. You know, entry would be around 97.5, DCA around 96k. I don't want us to close back below this mid-range level here at 96.8k. So if this is to close, it would be a wick and then go higher. All right. So this is considered a risky setup, but the setup is there. And as long as we get back above 96.8 to 97k on the daily, then we should target the 102k level. Okay, so these are the potential plays. This is conditional based on how we SFP and the wick is above whatever wick is created once we take these highs out. This is conditional based on the retest and flip, and then this is going to be a limit order entry around 97.5k, DCA around 96k-ish, and stop loss below the support here. Okay, so this is going to be a riskier trade compared to the others. And then if we get to this 102k level, I'd most likely start to ladder some shorts up. Well, the higher time frame short is going to be around, let me go ahead and remove this, and let's go back to the daily. The higher time frame short for me, if I were to take shorts, would be around this 10, and I mentioned in my last video as well. Okay, points of most touch, DCA to around 106. This is the higher time frame short that I'd be looking to get into. Stop loss around 107.5. Okay, then back down. So this is going to be my swing trade short around 104.8, DCA to 106.3-ish, stop loss above 107.5. But on a lower time frame, this short around 102 does make sense. Okay. So again, I would like a more conditional type trade where we take these highs, just like we took these lows, SFP, but this is a decently strong resistance where you could set limits. So limits around 102.450, and your stop loss is going to be around 104, yeah, 104k, and play this back down. Okay, so we have about 5 different trades here for Bitcoin. If I give anything, it's going to be in the discords. So I'm not going to be, responsible for any plays that you guys take based on this video, unless, I give it in the Discord. So again, for that, if I give anything in the Discords, then I'm taking myself. Okay, these are just educational contents, so you guys are able to see what I see. So this is Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at ETH. Now, ETH to me looks like this fractal back here in, from August up until November. Okay, so we had, a uptrend, and then we had a consolidation, just like uptrend, consolidation, and that second leg up. Okay, creating that lower high, come back down, make another lower high, come back down, make another lower high, then come back down into this accumulation zone. All right, and you had, I can draw this black. Okay, So you had this little descending wedge, okay, uptrend, descending wedge, okay, uptrend. Now, for us to be bullish on ETH, our first level that we need to get above is going to be this 2760 to 80-ish range, okay? We've had multiple touches of this resistance. The more touches of resistance, the weaker it's going to be. So you would need a breakout and retest, and you can target a long, which looks something like this, and stops are going to be below the previous low. Okay, now the R&R here isn't that great. It's about a 2-hour trade, but it'll be something like that. We do have resistance here around 2850-ish. Okay, multiple resistances, multiple touches of resistance. So be mindful of that. If we get this breakout and retest, now you can go on lower time frame. Right, here's a 4-hour. So breakout, retest. If you want a tighter stop loss, you can place it around 2700. Your first TP comes around this 2850 area. Okay, and then above that, we should target this main level of resistance, which is the level that I personally want to see us flip before we go higher, which also coincides with this breakout and retest point of this trend line here. Okay, now this was support that we lost. Okay, so we need to reclaim this level for a mean reversion and deviation to go higher. If we can get above 3K and flip it, then we are looking at 3,300, 3,700, and from there on, cycle highs around 4K, right? But we need to get above this 3K level for that to happen. Otherwise, we're taking it level by level, and we're going to focus on flipping this first, TPing around 2850, and then final TP comes around this 3K level. Above that, if you want to leave runners, you can add more once we flip that level. Okay, so most likely, if there's no, bullish news, the first level of rejection should come around this level here, this SR point. We had support, we broke down. So if I were to draw fibs from, let's say, okay, in between the golden pocket and the 786 fib, that's where I go ahead and start laddering my shorts. Again, this SR point is where most likely I'd be entering. So around 3K, DCA up until the 786 fib around 3150, stop loss probably around 3200. Now I don't know how strong that rejection is going to be, because at that point it's going to be a breakout attempt. Okay, so just like we had multiple breakout attempts here, yes, we could reject, but notice how we've had multiple touches or attempts to break out. This one might be a little bit risky, so what we can do is have a tighter stop. Okay, although I want to short that fib here, let's remove these lines. We can enter at the SR point. Let's go to a lower time frame. Okay, and stop loss is going to be around 3150-ish. Okay, so very tight stop loss if we were to play it that way. So it's going to be, now I got that level from a higher time frame, but something like that. Okay, again, riskier trade because of the amounts of touches we've had on this trend line, but still valid. Okay. Now, if we get a deeper pullback, I don't know if we will, but if we do, I'd most likely look to long this order block that hasn't been tested. Now, this accumulation zone, the longer we accumulate, okay, and I've said this in my previous videos, the stronger the expansion will be. So something around here, if we get a pullback and we're still going to be trading this range here, right? Here's the highs, here's the lows, here's mid-range. If we are at range highs, we want to long the mid-range level. And if I were to draw fibs, let's take it from these lows, whoops, okay, to these highs here. The golden pocket falls within this order block, okay, stops below the 786 fib, and then TP1, TP2, TP3. Okay, that's what I'd be looking for if we get this pullback here on ETH. All right. Now let's take a look at Sol. Sol is an interesting one. All right. Now the sentiment around CT and personally me, I'm very bearish on Sol in the higher time frame. All right, but I have two shorts that I shared in the Discord, and for those that are watching that are in the Discord, I'm going to explain why this one's a little bit riskier compared to this one. All right, so Sol SFP'd these lows here. We closed above, okay? And once that happened, I personally took a long and placed my stop loss below these lows. Decently up, it's about a 1 hour trade currently, and I am looking for TPing most of it around this 182 level. Now, we had previously resistance, we broke out, flipped it, kept it, kept it, kept it, so now it's going to be an SR point, but the reason why this short's going to be a little bit, and again, the reason why I'm taking this short in the first place is because it's an SR point, and stop loss is above this wick, so it's a scalp play for me. I'm only risking like 2%. But the reason again why it's a little bit risky is because of this deviation play. So if we reject, I'm looking for decent profits, but if we reclaim this level, you have a deviation of this support that was lost, okay? And this short around the supply zone, and if you take fibs from these highs down to these lows, you get the golden pocket and the 786 within the supply zone. I'd be looking to short that. This is a B plus setup, whereas this one is just probably like a C plus or a C setup, and I'm only trying to get a quick scalp of this SR point. All right, so I'm still going to take it. I'm still going to share it. If I were to cancel, it'll only be given in the Discord. But that's the reasoning for it. While other alts are completely up, the reason for this being a little bit slower is because of the bearish sentiment around meme coins and Solana in general. Now, if we were to take a look at the Sol BTC pairing, which I haven't done yet, okay, this looks very similar to what ETH did before the run up. So we had, again, let's go to a higher time frame. Okay. So previously resistance. Okay. So if we reclaim this level of support, just like this here, Sol is going to put in a deviation and then go higher. This supply zone perfectly falls in line with our second short that I gave. Okay. Order block, sorry, supply zone along with the golden pocket fibs. But if we reclaim it, just know that it's going to be an expansion to the upside. Now, I personally have said that I think, based on my analysis, that the top is in for Sol. But if we are able to reclaim this, we can have another chance of, going back to revisiting these highs here. All right. So just keep that in mind when taking the short. If we reject and we have a deeper pullback in the markets, then we're going to play the range low here around 120-ish. Not saying we're going to get it anytime soon, but if we have a deeper pullback and Sol loses this trend line, now this was a 3-day trend line, if we lose this trend line here, okay, then yes, I'm looking at the range lows, and I am a trader, so I'm going to play the range if given to me. Okay, now we've fallen back into this range. That's why I'm taking this short here. But currently, this 3-day candle, if it closes like this, very bullish, making this trade, like I said, a C rating trade and super risky. All right, so just keep that in mind. Okay. In terms of Sol, I honestly am not really interested in longing it. But if we get a pullback, let's say this is the high. If we get a pullback, I'd most likely look to long the same entry point and this order block here. Okay. So around 169. I don't know if we get that deep of a pullback, and stop loss below 163, and we'll target that 191 level. So something like this, and then go higher. Okay. Other than that, not really interested in Sol. I've actually shifted my focus from Sol these last few weeks, and I'd be more interested in, ETH in general. We have an order block here, very strong resistance on a lower time frame. So we could possibly reject from that 181 point very easily. Okay. So that's what I'd be looking at for Sol on a lower time frame. Okay. Now let's talk about digital silver. Okay. Litecoin. And again, this is one coin that I think is going to break out very, very soon to the upside. All right. Now, let me bring up a perp chart. Let's use this. Okay. So higher time frame, however you want to see it. Here is the range, accumulation. You can even think that this is a bull flag. Even if it is a bull flag, let's start it from here to the impulse. Place it the point of breakout. Targets should be around 170 if you think this is a bull flag, which is valid. Okay. Now we are at range highs here, but how many times are we going to touch this resistance until we break out? So I have a nice bag of Litecoin. I've shared in the Discord. Mid-range is around 117. If we get a pullback, then yes, I will be adding in that. Well, the details are shared in the Discord, but lower time frame. Okay. Or sorry, not lower time frame. Time frame. On the daily, we have an inverse head and shoulders. Okay. Target for this inverse head and shoulders, if we break out and retest, again, falls around that 170 area. So whether you have a bull flag or an inverse head and shoulders, the target remains the same. Now, let's take a look at the LTC BTC pairing. Okay. Now we can take a look at this on a higher time frame. Okay. Usually when you have coins that curl up like this, and especially huge accumulation, it's going to go to the upside. All right. Now this could be possibly putting in some type of double bottom formation. And even if we get it back into this resistance here, this is about a 2 to 3x trade. All right. Which would send LTC Litecoin to about $250, $300. Now, higher time frame on this accumulation. Now this has been accumulating in this little range here since March of 22. We can go back to a coin that has the same type of pattern. Okay, here is accumulation of May up until September. The longer the base, the longer the accumulation, the expansive the move will be. All right, so this is where we are. We're about to go here. Okay, once we break out, notice how once this broke out of its range, put a nice move up. It came back down to retest its range high perfectly, and then put in that second leg up. Okay, so Litecoin looks similar. Here is the range. Okay, we're starting the breakout. We came back down, retested it, so we should continue to go higher. Now, above 135, 134 to 137-ish, we should see nothing but free air up until this order block. Okay, so technical targets, like I said, everything points to 170. We have strong resistance. That's where I'd be taking my first, or a decent chunk of profits, and then I'd be looking to offload a whole bunch here. Okay, I think that Litecoin puts in an XRP type move. So, with the ETF narrative coming up as well, I would have some Litecoin in, your spot bags personally. I do, so that's what I'm sharing here. Okay. Now, last but not least, one of the strongest coins in the market after the recovery is SUI. This is one of the coins that I shared in the Discords and been holding it. Now, it's at a very, very strong level here. Okay. Just like Bitcoin did, here is a double bottom formation. Actually put in a higher low. If we are able to break above this 360 resistance and flip it, technical targets should send this to $4.20, which comes at another resistance point. Okay, so in my opinion, any pullback on SUI is a buy. Now it's it's coming close to resistance here, so I wouldn't be buying anything. But if we do get a pullback, maybe the next higher low, like I said, this put in a higher low here. And if I were to buy, this is where I would buy. The SR point around 336. Probably buy down to 313. And even if it comes back down here, we put in another higher low and we should go higher. Okay. Now again, this looks very similar. A lot of charts are going to look like this because they had a downtrend. Buy the trend line until broken, but this would be more of a spot play. Okay. I don't think that we go test these highs anytime soon. I'd be surprised if so, but spot play would look something like this. If we close down below this trend line, okay, below this support here, that's where I'd be looking to close. We haven't had any closures below that on the daily. So below 295, I'd be looking to close. It's just a simple range. But leverage traders, if we get a pullback into this 336 level, $3.36. Okay. Stop loss will be below 311 and you're targeting 420. Okay. This is an area where we most likely will reject from. We're getting closer to the 786 fib. We also do have an order block. Okay. And again, like I said, that neckline resistance. So if we are to reject, now this is also dependent on a whole other factors like Bitcoin going down, ETH going down. If we are to reject, it's going to be from this area here. Okay, so if you want to short, I'm not going to be shorting the market. I personally think local bottom is in, but if we are to reject, this would be the area to do so. I give all objective viewpoints, and you can make your decisions based on your own analysis. Okay. And the other final coin that looks really decent is Injective. I covered this before. It went further down than I expected it to, but this this monthly and weekly look very good. Okay. So perfect bounce, SFP, perfect bounce. First area of resistance we are facing currently. Okay, but again, if we are able to get above this level, it would be a reverse, a deviation, and we should go higher. Okay. So I'd be looking at something like this. Okay, nice little falling wedge action. And personally, I'd be buying a bag here. Closure below 20.4 as spot position. And if we can get above this level, first TP would be around 18.5. Okay, 21. Now everyone's saying, "Oh, that's not a move. That's a 15% move. That's decent." Okay, so something like this. So I'd be buying here DCA till about, I don't know, 15 to 1480-ish. If you want to be patient, and if we do get a pullback, then I'd be buying this order block here. But that's what I'd be looking at for Injective. Okay. If we don't get a deeper pullback in the markets, then Injective should be one of the coins that runs. Now let me take a quick look at the BTC pairing really quickly. Yeah, see, market was going down, this was going up. This looks bullish to me. Yeah, I think Injective would be a good bet for upside as well. Perfect demand zone touch. Um, okay, just need to get above this level, and then again, like I said, a deviation to the upside, just like here. Okay, so these are the coins that I'm currently looking at. Outside of that, I'm not really trading much, taking more quality trades instead of quantity. I don't understand the obsession with people wanting to be in a trade all the time. Your whole entire goal is to have month to month growth or month over month growth, but a lot of people want to be in multiple positions because they want to try to make all their losses back. All right, don't be that person. Focus on quality trades and focus on increasing your portfolio month over month. All right, so that's it for me. I will see you guys later. Thanks, everyone.